With this video today, I want to explain to you which aspects of the leveling you need to take care of. I will also explain you why player skills are often more valuable than player stats in details. Don't worry, guys, you don't need to have all these players. Some GP players are enough. I am not going for my main team since I don't have some of these players. Obviously not everybody has got these kind of players, but this is a nice indicator to see how the best leveling would look like. And if you have lower rated players, GP players, nominating contract players and so on, you can just go for the direction. Let's start with the goalkeeper and how to level them properly. For this example, we are using me, maybe the best goalkeeper in game, but this is a matter of taste. Peter Schmeichel. What do I take care of? What do I focus for? A good and nice goalkeeping leveling. For me, the most important point, the most important attribute for every goalkeeper is the awareness skill. So you can see it here, the goalkeeping awareness. Because this skill is in general impacting the whole other attributes like the positioning, like the reflexes, reaction times or his behavior in general. So I take a lot of care to this point and try to max this always as much as I can. The next point's my second one is goalkeeping reflexes because this makes the goalkeeper faster and he will act like a spider in the goal. The third point would be goalkeeping reach, especially for all goalkeepers. This is important. The better the reach goalkeeping point is, the better he will save the balls. For example, Courtois and Donnarumma for me the best GP goalkeepers in game and it's almost impossible to score long-range shoots against them. The next one is jumping. So if you are at like 82, 85 with a tall, relatively tall goalkeeper, you are good to go. And if we are looking for catching and parrying, I don't put my focus too much on these points because this game is made for bounce backs, even if they have like 99 and catching 99 and parrying. I don't feel comfortable with that. They are not stable. They will not parry the ball in a good manner. Go for the awareness first, then go for reflexes. The second part, one of the main parts on the pitch of the defense. The center backs in general. Let's talk about them. I go for Maldini. I do not have him, I use Nesta instead, but I still feel Maldini is a better option, but you can project this on most of the center backs. First of all, defense awareness, this is the defensive alertness. For me, the most important point. This impacts many other points which are not included in the definitions of Konami, but this is what I've experienced since many, many years. This is something which I also experienced in this game in Football 2023, in eFootball 2024 also. So I always try to level the defense aspect of a center back as much as possible. So go for like around 95, 96, up to 99. As you can see here, also in the defensive engagement, you can see that this guy has defensive engagement on 99. The ability defensive engagement has got the base definition in the help section. But it has got also an additional definition and an additional impact in game, as a loading screen tip, which I was able to catch. Players with low defensive engagement will not be able to take up appropriate positions in defensive scenarios. If their stamina gauge are low, monitor your player's stamina by checking their stamina in game or via your game plan. This is a kind of a fighting spirit skill, but regarding on the positioning of the defender, your player will react faster, react quicker, and also will run faster and run. For that I put my focus on defensive engagement also. If he is reacting faster with defensive engagement, there's no need for me to level him in speed or acceleration a lot. Of course this is a nice to have, but when I have to decide I will go for the defense section. Different strategies will lead to a different leveling, especially with speed and acceleration. For example, you're playing on quick counter. Let's say you're playing on a quick counter. When defending, players form a high defensive line to apply strong pressure from the front, looking to win the ball high up the pitch. That means they are in the front, they are in the midfield and not depend on half. If you get one through, pass behind your own back line and will need to make long-distance runs from the front to the back to catch up the forwards of the opponent. And for that, speed is important in quick counter for defenders, not acceleration, because they will reach their top speed when running back. Same situation is for possession game. Also there you will have a high defensive line and out wide also a little bit. Speed is important for these three strategies, but if you'll go for long ball counter, things are changing. When defending, players form a deep sitting defensive line near the goal and defend from there. They won't make or speed runs to catch up the opponent's forwards because they are already in their own half. They don't need to sprint, they don't need to dash. Because of that, they need acceleration more than top speed. Same goes for long ball with the defense. The defensive block will kept low to ensure a steady defense, but this does not mean that you shouldn't level both. Especially speed is important because it's combined in the leveling with stamina. And stamina is important, especially if your player doesn't have the skill fighting spirit. Next aspect is the physical contact and heading part. I have a formula for that. If a defender is tall and a little heavy, I will give him more physical contact because I can't make a heavy player a strong player faster. So when you have a heavy center back, I would go for a high physical contact. Talk about like Virgil van Dijk. I would go for approximately 90 physical contact, and also if I had to. But if your center back is fast, he doesn't need to compensate his lack of speed with physical contact, with physicality. He can run fast and he's able to catch up the forwards with his own speed. The tall and strong defenders are compensating their lack of speed with their physical contact. Passing, in my opinion, is that's important because with their passing stat, it's enough for a center-back to make a build-up pass or to clear the ball. Dribbling, we don't need to talk because don't go in dribbling speed with your center-backs. This doesn't make sense and will bring you in a big danger. You also don't need to level your defender in dribbling, especially not your center-backs. Before we go to the fullbacks, I want to talk with you about one big point. You will ask me, why don't you level him that much? In headling or jumping? Jumping is important. My Maldini has got 87 right now, as you can see, but there are player skills. These are players' stats and there are player skills as you can see here, like interception blocker and so on. All the headers you have to player skills which are called heading for accurate headers. And the second one is aerial superiority. This is you will be more superior in the air. He will have a better dual behavior in the air with this player skill. He doesn't need that much jumping, that much heading. There's a big issue with the other points. There is no player skill like extra boost or something to lightning speed or something like that to make him faster. And these player skills are more reliable than these player stats. If I would need to select to decide one thing like 85 jumping or aerial superiority with 80 jumping, I would go for aerial superiority because this player skills have got way more impact on the pitch. Let's go to our fullbacks. Let's talk about Albert Ferrer. I use Reinildo, Ilastundo and Wan-Bissaka. They have beast defensive stats if you are going for a defensive full hack, but for offensive full back, go for one with high defensive stats like Danilo of Juventus. Albert Ferrer is extraordinary because here, I trained him full defensive. You can see his defensive bullets are insanely high. He's also so fast with 87 in speed, 86 in acceleration. And I didn't level him that much. As a fullback, it's a little different. Why? You can go for both ways. You can go for defensive style or for offensive style. And I will show you both options. Of course, it's nice to have an old Ronaldo who's tall, fast, strong. He can do everything. We want that, but this is too rare. Therefore, I will give you some indicators on which you should take care of. I play on a long ball counter system. That means my defense is always in the back on top. When they stay back, they don't need to run to the front. That means they don't need dribbling skills, they don't need passing skills, they don't need to make a cross or something. They just need to stay back and go into one-on-one duels with the opponent and gain back the possession. Well, gaining back the possession defense is the most important aspect. Defensive awareness, tackling, aggression, defensive engagement, especially on the wings. Physical contact is not so important from the wings. Your opponent will probably come with players like Heung-min Son, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe and so on. They won't come with tanks like Haaland, Ronaldo and so on. You need agile, dynamic, fast fullbacks who are good in defense, but you don't need that if you are going for defensive fullback. And then there's also an offensive variance. If you play with offensive fullbacks, which can be super effective too, you need to level your player different. They will need speed, they will need acceleration, they will need less defense because you can't have it all, and they will need dribbling skills. I would bring the dribbling skills close to 80 plus, also lofted pass or passing in general. I would try to bring on the 80 plus area, stamina also important. Therefore, you should put your focus more on speed than on acceleration to push and to increase. Also the stamina. The fullback will run to the front, run to the back.